Women who once dwelled in kitchens, classrooms, or prison cells are now fighting on the front lines of Ukraine's war. Thousands of Ukrainian women have stepped into battle against the very forces that once confined or underestimated them. These fighters, driven by rejection and revenge, confront an enemy expecting a traditional army but face instead an unstoppable wave of women with nothing to lose. Their emergence is rewriting the rules of war itself. This isn't just about numbers, it signals a fundamental shift in strategy and mindset. Ukraine's so-called warriors, sometimes called Amazons or witches, have become an invisible but powerful barrier, disrupting Russia's most carefully laid plans. To understand the true strength behind this resistance, we must look behind the bars, to where one of Ukraine's boldest decisions was made. Faced with relentless human wave tactics and brutal assaults, Ukraine's military made a startling choice. They opened prison gates, releasing women who were once considered prisoners or convicts. But these are no longer mere inmates, they are fighters willing to pay a steep price. Their past lives behind bars are now chapters of courage and defiance. Among them is a soldier known by the nickname Tequila. When asked about joining this assault unit, she hesitated, confessing doubts. Yet even with a finger on the trigger, she says she'd do it again today. Her answer is simple, but the emotion behind it is profound. What did she feel stepping out of prison? A deep breath, as if filling her lungs for the first time in years. Out there, the air is different. Charged with purpose and urgency. Her prison, a gray and gloomy facility near Kharkiv, once cut her off from daily life. Now, that gray world has been replaced with muddy trenches and the roar of war. For Tequila, freedom isn't a life of comfort, it's standing at the front lines, weapon in hand, where chaos reigns. Her leap from confinement to combat whispers a bigger story: Ukraine is transforming, and its women are leading the charge. This story is about more than individual heroism, it symbolizes a nation's rebirth. Tequila's words reveal how her town resisted occupation, turning despair into resistance, darkness into purpose. Her journey exemplifies a larger wave of women across Ukraine. Why are so many women stepping into these hazardous, frontline roles? The answer lies in a potent mix of shame, longing for justice, and an unquenchable desire to fight back. Behind the scenes, Ukrainian officials describe a paradox. Why would women leave comfort and safety, exile from the normal life they knew, to face the danger of mortar fire and sniper aim? It's driven by something deeper: restitution and revenge, fueling a resolve stronger than fear. For many, this is about rewriting their story from the label of criminal to that of hero. Take Helena, a 36-year-old former cook, convicted for minor crimes but now a fierce soldier. Her reason? Not guilt, but heartbreak. She lost her son and husband in the savage battles of Volodar. Her pain has ignited a dangerous courage. She possesses a fury that leaves no room for hesitation. Now, she fights not just as a soldier, she fights with a primal hunger for justice. And the number of women fighting? Over 70,000, most unnamed, many on the harshest front lines. The town of Bucha epitomizes this phenomenon. At midnight, the air vibrates with the metallic hum of drones and the distant crack of gunfire. Despite the trauma of the 2022 invasion, these women have transformed into guardians of their homeland. They blend daily life with combat, teachers by day, night fighters by necessity. In Bucha, women are not just civilians, they are combatants. They patrol the skies, shooting down Iranian-made kamikaze drones with homemade defenses. Equipped with tablets, thermal cameras, and laser pointers, they form a new kind of air defense, a deadly, clever response to modern threats. Their arms include whatever they can find, even a heavy machine gun, the timeless Maxim, which roars with relentless fury against slow-moving targets in the night. Aging, yet fiercely determined, women like Valentina, known as Valkyrie, embody this evolution. At 51, she is a veterinarian who refused to remain passive after her son's life was threatened. When her country called, she grabbed her weapon and became a warrior. Her message? I may not run fast, she says, but I can shoot with deadly precision. Her ferocity turns her into a mother avenging her child's suffering, transforming her into a symbol of resilience. Meanwhile, civilians like schoolteachers are rewriting their roles in this brutal fight. During the day, they teach calculus, but when night falls, they fire at enemy drones. Using software-controlled crossfire tactics, they turn their schoolyards into strategic points, obliterating swarm attacks with bullets costing mere dollars, a victory of intelligence and economy over high-tech threats. This integration of civilians and military efforts is reshaping the very fabric of Ukrainian society. The role of women has evolved from the sidelines to the heart of the battlefield. By 2025, their numbers are expected to surpass 70,000, a 40% increase from 2021. They're no longer confined to medical or logistical positions. They command tanks, serve as snipers, operate artillery, and pilot advanced drones. The psychological impact on enemy troops is immense. Knowing their enemy could be a teacher, mother, or grandmother fuels deep paranoia. Military experts reveal that these women's determination and resilience are unsettling Russia's propaganda. Colonel Verlotti once summarized it poignantly, saying, "Women here are even more savage than the men. They carry a sacred rage, born from personal tragedy, the destruction of their homes, their families. This unstoppable rage is transforming not only military tactics but society itself, reshaping norms and roles across Ukraine." The war has also altered gender expectations in Ukraine. Women now fill jobs once reserved for men, from factory floors to supply chains. They produce specialized uniforms, armor, and weapons. The prolonged conflict has hardened society. Instead of breaking under the weight, Ukrainian resilience has strengthened, expanding human resources rather than depleting them. In this relentless fight, the very fabric of Ukrainian life persists. Schools remain open, children learn during daylight, and women stand ready, embodying hope, courage, and defiance. Every action, every shot fired, becomes a part of a collective effort to preserve a future worth fighting for, with a spirit unbreakable, powered by the unyielding fire of those who have nothing left to lose. Previously, a woman named Tequila, freed from prison, traded her cold self for the muddy front lines, armed and ready. Her journey embodies redemption and Ukraine's profound shift against invasion. Now, witness how ordinary women become unbreakable warriors. Can you fathom leaving safety for chaos, risking everything for vengeance? That's the raw switch Ugandan women are making. Tens of thousands volunteer voluntarily. Officials call it paradoxical, swapping cozy prison routines for mud-soaked trenches under constant mortar roar. Yet, deep atonement and revenge drive them, overpowering survival instinct. Field Commander Hedgehog notes a key difference for female fighters. It's about shedding criminal shame for heroic honor. As prisoners charge Russian lines with rifles, fear turns to pure necessity. The tactile grip of steel, the earthy scent of unsettled soil, the distant hum of imminent danger. Halina, a 36-year-old ex-cook from petty crimes, exemplifies this. Her motive surpasses remorse, it's searing grief. She lost her 25-year-old son and husband in Bakhmut's inferno. Now, with nothing else to lose, she wields ferocious boldness. In war, no deeper life makes one most lethal, their death dread morphing into rage. Halina and her kin pose wild threats to Russian forces. Beyond named heroines, 70,000 women choose battlefields. 5,500 stand on lethal front lines, 0 point where eyes meet enemies in ceaseless artillery whine. Bucha stands as peak paradox. Here, everyday civilians morph into nocturnal guardians. The metallic clatter of old machine guns shreds modern drones at midnight. What dark fear haunts Russian pilots? These witches awaken Bucha's horrors, channeling trauma into discipline. During day, they're teachers, doctors, stylists, clerks. Nightfall, they transform. Bet this unconventional brigade, defying modern war norms, packs deadly punch. What twisted irony arms them? Replying to Iranian Shahid 136 drones worth millions, they counter with calm resolve, using salvaged gear like the Maxim machine gun, hefty, fixed, relentless. Upgraded with laser sights, thermal cameras, tablets, it becomes air defense master, turning slow drones into sky litter. Their adaptability shocks. No age limits here. Valentina, age 51, a veterinarian dubbed Valkyrie, proves it. Russian threats targeting her son ignited her warrior spark. I can't sprint, but I can fire, she declares, exposing Putin's blind spot. Cornering a mother creates a foe deadlier than doctrine's dream. Ina, math teacher by day, embodies dual lives. From classroom chalk to forest post gun, she teaches calculus then defends airspace, blurring lines between education and battle. No conflict, both shield futures. These groups aren't random fire, software tracks drones, forming crossfires, dismantling swarm tactics with cheap bullets over pricey missiles. Ukraine's economic tactical win. So, shockingly, as female soldiers swell to 70,000 by 2025, nearing 100,000, a massive 40% leap since 2021, they shift from rear support to frontline roles, tank leaders, snipers, artillery handlers, FPV drone guides. This reality shatters Russian myths of Ukrainian fatigue. Imagine paranoia as a sniper's teacher aim or mom's bomb drop targets occupied villages. It's psychological siege. Colonel Andrei Verlady on Bucha unit, men enlisted or hid, but women turned savage, their homes decimated awakening untouchable fury. This ripples beyond war, gender roles twist, women fill male voids in logistics, industry. Armor production for women ignites adaptation. Instead of societal breakdown, hardening occurs. Human force expands, not depletes. Figures like Ina sustain civilian rhythm amidst defense, crushing Russia's uninhabitability plot. Schools operate, lessons echo. But when bells chime, teachers grab not shelter refuge, but over the midnight skies of Bucha, an eerie metallic symphony echoes through the darkness. The relentless roar of machine guns, reminiscent of distant battles from the 1930s, cuts through the silence. It is the sound of the Bucha witches, brave women fighting from within civilian life, organized outside prison walls. To the Russian pilots, they are more than soldiers, they are legends that strike fear into the heart of darkness. Bucha, devastated in 2022 by brutal occupation, has transformed its pain into unyielding discipline. By day, these women live as teachers, doctors, manicure specialists, or accountants. But when night falls, they become the most formidable defenders of Ukrainian airspace. Their secret? A rare military approach, where civilian lives and combat roles collide in a deadly dance. The equipment these women wield defies expectations. They face the threat of Iranian-made Shahid 136 kamikaze drones, weapons worth millions of dollars, with sheer courage and ingenuity. They don't wait for advanced missiles. Instead, they rely on high-powered firearms like the Maxim machine gun, a relic from the past repurposed for modern warfare. Its roaring firepower, when enhanced with laser pointers, thermal cameras, and tablets, morphs into a sophisticated air defense tool, capable of shredding slow-moving drones making buzzing, moped-like sounds in the sky. Imagine a teacher, a veterinarian, or a nurse, holding a weapon in the dead of night, firing into the darkness with unwavering resolve. These women adapt effortlessly to the most advanced weapons, proving that age, background, or civilian profession hold no barrier in their fight. One of their icons is Valentina, known as Valkyrie, a veterinarian who, at 51, defies all expectations. In 2022, her world changed forever. When a Russian soldier threatened her son with a gun, Valentina's civilian life shattered. Instead of succumbing to fear, she chose to become a warrior. Her words echo through the night, "I may not be able to run, but I can hold this machine gun." Those words aren't just defiance, they're a declaration of a new reality, where mothers, teachers, and everyday citizens transform into relentless defenders. The streets of Bucha are witnessing a metamorphosis. Here, trauma fuels combat readiness. These women are not just fighting, they are rewriting the rules of war itself. As they stand guard against the relentless drone swarms and impending threats, they embody a new kind of resistance, one where the boundaries between civilian life and warfare blur into a deadly, courageous new frontier. But how long can this quiet revolution hold? With every night, the skies grow darker, thicker with danger. The question remains, will these unseen heroines be enough to turn the tide? Or are they only just beginning to reveal the true power hidden behind their unassuming masks? Despite her age, Valentina, known as Valkyrie, refuses to let age define her limits. At 51, she stands ready, her spirit unbroken by time. In 2022, a Russian soldier threatened her son, pressing a gun to his head. That moment transformed her from civilian to combatant overnight. When she says, "I may not be able to run, but I can use this machine gun. Her words echo a truth that Putin cannot grasp. Destroying a mother's peace awakens a fury more potent than any military strategy. Meanwhile, a humble math teacher reflects an even deeper truth: war has engulfed every corner of her life. She leaves her forest post, sheds her camouflage, and teaches calculus to eager students. At night, she returns to the chaos of the trenches. This seamless shift reveals a society where civilian and soldier collide, where the hand that writes equations also pulls the trigger. Both are tools to shape the future. These mobile defense units are no random civilians. Equipped with advanced tablets, they track enemy drones through intricate triangle formations for crossfire. With just a few dollars per shot, they counter the threat of swarm attacks, Russia's most feared weapon, without reliance on costly missiles. Small, precise, and effective. The role of women in Ukraine's armed forces has moved beyond mere symbolism. Statistically, they are now a formidable, decisive force on the battlefield. By 2025, the number of female soldiers is projected to surpass 70,000, heading toward 100,000, a 40% rise since 2021. This surge reflects a profound shift. Women are no longer confined to behind-the-scenes support. Once relegated to logistics, medical duties, and administrative roles, women now command tanks, operate artillery, pilot drones, and engage directly with the enemy. This transformation shifts perceptions and strategies on a fundamental level. How does the enemy cope with women who, in daylight, are teachers and nurses, but in combat, become the ones turning the tide? The psychological impact on Russian forces is undeniable. Their propaganda dismisses Ukrainian resistance as exhausted and dependent on Western mercenaries. But the reality? Soldiers and even mothers armed with simple yet deadly tools turn paranoia into panic. When a sniper could be a mother, or a drone pilot a teacher, the enemy's assumptions crumble. Colonel Verlotti captures this truth perfectly: while men may hide or falter, women become even more fierce when their homes are shattered. Their wrath is an unstoppable force. The war is not only fought with weapons but with lives and stories intertwined, each woman a living proof that Ukraine's resistance is reshaping the battlefield. The war has changed Ukraine, reshaping roles and rewriting destinies. Women, once seen as side players, now forge the front lines, driven by loss, love, and unyielding belief in freedom. Each shot fired, each drone shot down, shatters old stereotypes and ignites a new chapter of strength. The question is not if they will continue to alter the course of history, but how much longer the enemy can withstand this rising tide of indomitable courage. In recent times, the number of women serving in Ukraine's armed forces has surged dramatically. By 2025, over 70,000 women will be enlisted, a staggering 40% increase from just 2 years earlier. But this growth isn't just about raw numbers, it signifies a profound transformation. Women, once confined to logistics, medical roles, or administrative tasks, are now fighting in the heart of combat zones, shattering old stereotypes. These women are no longer distant supporters, they are frontline warriors. Some are positioned at the zero point, where face-to-face contact with the enemy becomes inevitable. They are tank commanders, sniper sharpshooters, artillery operators, even FPV drone pilots. Imagine the sensory chaos: the ringing of distant gunfire, the trembling ground under their feet, the sharp smell of burned fuel, and the relentless pressure of artillery shells overhead. Can you picture the tension as they stare down the adversary, knowing the next moment could be their last? The psychological toll on Russian troops is staggering. While propaganda seeks to depict Ukraine's fighters as exhausted or mere mercenaries, the reality on the ground laughs at such lies. The enemy fears these women more than they admit. Why? Because the person aiming a sniper rifle or guiding a drone could be a neighbor, a teacher, a mother, or a loved one seeking revenge for lost homes and loved ones. This creates a deep paranoia in the Russian ranks. Colonel Andrei Verlotti famously said that many Russian soldiers resort to hiding or surrender, but women? They can be even more ruthless. Their fury, born from destroyed lives and shattered homes, fuels an unbreakable resolve, a sacred anger that cannot be contained. This fierce resistance isn't just military. It sparks a societal upheaval, a reshaping of gender roles and social norms. The war has disrupted the traditional fabric of Ukrainian society, compelling women to step into roles once considered unthinkable. Across industries, they fill labor shortages left by men fighting at the front. The factories producing uniforms, body armor, and combat gear for women have adapted rapidly, fueling a new industrial wave. Imagine the smell of freshly pressed fabric, the clang of machinery, and the heat radiating from metal molds, all driven by women who once only envisioned civilian lives. While many believed prolonged conflict would weaken Ukrainian resilience, the opposite has happened. Society has hardened, human resources have expanded, and the spirit of endurance has sharpened. Women are not just supporting from the sidelines, they are leading the charge. They are the new backbone of Ukraine's defense, forging a future from the ashes of war's destruction. In a powerful shift, the war has sparked a new industrial boom in Ukraine, turning what could have been societal exhaustion into unbreakable resilience. Ukrainian human resources aren't dwindling, they're growing stronger, expanding far beyond Western aid. Imagine this: what if the real war Russia ignited only empowered Ukraine to fight fiercer, with women as the unstoppable force in the fray? Picture the earth-shaking booms of explosions rippling through villages, the acrid stench of gunpowder clinging to the air, the icy bite of winter mud squelching under boots, yet schools stay open, voices echoing with lessons on calculus, while teachers transform into defenders at dusk. Take teacher Inna, for instance. She embodies that unbreakable spirit. By day, she stands in front of chalkboards, guiding Ukrainian youth through equations that shape minds. By night, she reaches for her rifle, silencing incoming threats. Is this the epitome of defiance, or a masterstroke of survival? Can you fathom switching from teaching algebra to aiming at drones that buzz like angry wasps above? This radical blend isn't about surrender, it's Ukraine's unflinching response to Russia's relentless siege. When the recess bell chimes, it's not a dash to bunkers. It's a sprint to anti-aircraft positions, hearts pounding, breaths sharp in the frost. Power plants may crumble under strikes, infrastructure shattering with thunderous crashes, metal twisting in the heat, but this web of communal resolve? It endures, unyielding. Zoom out, and the Kremlin's colossal blunder stands stark. Forget weapons stockpiles or supply chains, the true misstep? Underestimating human fire. Putin unleashed terror, dreaming to crush spirits, force submission. Yet, in the ravaged ruins of Bucha, where the metallic tang of blood lingered and the cries of the fallen still haunt the winds, that strategy backfired spectacularly. Cross that invisible line, and fear morphs into hatred, forging icy determination instead. By slaughtering innocents, Russia didn't shatter Ukraine. It forged an army from the alleys and rooftops, every shadow a weapon, every civilian a vortex of wrath. How do you conquer a force like this? These ex-prisoners and grieving mothers, driven by raw survival and vengeance, defying all standard tactics. Classic doctrines crumble against it, Russia's manpower edge? Meaningless now against total, fluid mobilization. At war's dawn, Putin had a foe of 200,000 to 300,000 troops. Today, he clashes with a nation awake, over 10 million ready reserves pulsing with potential. But wait, does this mean the scales have tipped irreversibly, or is there a darker secret Moscow's hiding from its own ranks? The air thickens with anticipation, as if the very ground whispers of payback. What horrors await if this rage fully awakens? Deep within the heart of Ukraine's resilience lies a surprising truth: ordinary women, once confined by prisons, classrooms, or domestic life, are now the frontline warriors transforming the very fabric of modern warfare. Their stories defy expectations, reshaping the battlefield and rewriting the narrative of conflict. The question is, how did these women rise from the shadows to become Ukraine's unexpected heroism? Imagine the deafening clang of metal, the hum of drones in the dark night, and the silent determination burning in each soldier's eyes. These women, teachers, mothers, vets, have traded their routines for the chaos of war. Their turning point wasn't just combat, but a profound pledge to face what they once feared most. An ordinary mother becomes a fierce guardian, her hands trembling not from fear, but from resolve. As she grips her weapon, the world shifts. Can you feel the raw electricity of pure defiance? What makes this transformation even more astonishing? Beneath the surface, a quiet revolution unfolds. Strategic industrial shifts now produce uniforms and armor tailored for women. Military roles previously unseen are now filled with fearless females snatching victory from the jaws of chaos. Take Valentina, a 51-year-old veterinarian, who still can't forget the moment she held her son at gunpoint to defend her homeland. Her words echo a haunting truth: I may struggle to run, but I can fire that machine gun. That adrenaline, that surge of maternal fury, sparks a nightmare for any invading force, because once a mother's fury is unleashed, no armor, weapon, or drone can withstand it. The front lines are no longer just battlegrounds, they're stages for extraordinary acts of courage. Women are now snipers, drone operators, and artillery specialists, turning civilian skills into deadly tools. Picture a teacher on her forest post, switching seamlessly from classroom to combat zone, guiding her squad with laser-targeted precision. The sounds of distant gunfire mix with the tapping of tablet screens, as these fighters form complex crossfire patterns with just a few dollars worth of bullets, and economic victory that shatters Russia's costly missile strategies. How do they do it? Their secret weapon is resilience, ingenuity, and a refusal to surrender. Bucha's witches are at the core of this survival. By day, they are nurses, accountants, and shopkeepers. By night, fierce defenders unleashing fury on drone swarms descending upon their city. Their weapons, heavy machine guns and thermal optics, are upgraded and battle-hardened, yet their courage surpasses technology. These women, many in their 50s and 60s, risk it all, not for glory, but for justice. When Valentina and her comrades fire into the night sky, they send a message that shakes the very foundation of their enemies' plans: the darkness favors us now. And yet, the most shocking twist remains hidden in plain sight. The Russian strategy, a relentless push to exhaust Ukraine, has failed spectacularly. Their command centers now obsess over not just enemy regiments but the civilian populations who hunt from the shadows. Every occupied square meter becomes a zone of silent resistance, with mothers and teachers turning into guerrilla icons. The picture is clear: the sounds of bombing and destruction are drowned out by the thunderous charge of a new kind of resistance, a force that cannot be silenced. This is beyond mere defense. It's a collapse of an empire. Kremlin's hopes of victory are crumbling under an unyielding wave of human spirit. Instead of flowers or submission, what they got was the unbreakable fury of mothers like Tequila, released from confinement, ready to fight. As they prepare to face a relentless barrage of terror, these women have become the nightmare that haunts every Russian soldier. The truth the Kremlin refuses to accept? No weapon can stop a mother's desire for justice and retribution in her homeland. Power, strategy, or fear, they are powerless against the human will to protect what matters most. The tide of the war has turned dramatically, illuminating the night sky with relentless beams that cut through the darkness. These lights are tearing apart the last hopes of Putin's ambitions for victory. There's nowhere left to hide. The night now belongs to Ukrainian women, guardians of a new form of warfare. But this is only one side of the ongoing battle. When dawn breaks, a silent, deadly duel begins, fought with advanced technology beyond the trenches. In this domain, physical strength is secondary. Now, reflexes measured in milliseconds and precise, surgical strikes define victory. The battlefield is no longer just mud and steel, but sophisticated drone warfare. And the statistics are staggering. Ukrainian women controlling FPV drones are outmaneuvering Russian electronic systems with astonishing success. Meet Oksana, a 26-year-old former graphic designer with the covert nickname Phoenix. Her weapons? Not guns or grenades, but a $500 game controller and VR goggles. With this simple setup, she turns the might of Russia's tank fleet into scrap metal, T-90MS reduced to wreckage. Russia's armored doctrine crumbles before operators like her. Radio intercepts from Russian soldiers reveal mounting panic. The patience, dexterity, and speed of these women turning screens into war zones threaten to redefine the battlefield. Their impact matches infantry artillery, yet they sit safe behind fortified shelters, watching the chaos unfold from afar. Ukrainian defenses show an astonishing statistic: women are responsible for over 30% of drone strikes. Their calculated precision creates a dilemma Russia cannot solve. They are not just civilians or soldiers, they are digital warriors, transforming fear into fearsome power. This new chapter of the conflict exposes a brutal truth. In modern warfare, the bravest are no longer those with the loudest guns, but those with the sharpest reflexes, the steadiest hands, and a deadly instinct for revenge. As the night falls again, and the sky fills with the ominous hum of drones, the question lingers: who can stop a mother vowing justice for her child? The answer is clear. In this war, the real weapon is a mother's fury, unleashed through the blink of an eye, in the silent space where courage and technology collide. The final frontier of this story reveals women behind screens, fusing technology with terror in the skies, while on the ground, angels of steel rush into chaos to save lives no one else values. Imagine the irony: Russia accuses Ukraine of exhaustion, yet it's outmatched by everyday warriors rewriting war. Now, as we delve deeper, consider this jolt: while Russian troops flee empty-handed, Ukrainian women wielding joysticks from hidden basements are locking their enemies in a digital death grip. Could a student slaying foes from her dorm shatter an empire? That's the unseen edge turning the tide. Picture yourself in a dimly lit room, the hum of a computer fan like a heartbeat in the night, keypad clicks echoing like distant gunfire. She's just a university learner, eyes locked on screens, fingers dancing over a controller. Russian forces labeled this coming storm as elite threat, but it's sheer miscalculation and untrained strategists turning their jets into falling stars. In this cyberspace battlefield, what divides fighter from foe is raw smarts and gut instinct, not brute force. Bureaucratic giants tumble here, where a girl with a headset dismantles tanks from afar. But hold on, it's not all obliteration. Woven in are guardians who mend where others shatter. Flashback to that searing afternoon in 2022, mortar blasts rattling windows, the acrid stench of smoke seeping into kitchens, skin prickling with dust and dread. A young woman watched her home crumble. Now, she avenges it remotely. Is this revenge or rebirth? The digital war front erases gender lines. Elevating a college novice into a phantom menace Russia can't predict or crush. Their sluggish command structures grapple with agile minds, falling behind as innovations soar. Yet the tale extends beyond screens to salvation amid ruin. At scorched zones like Pokrovsk and Kupiansk, where artillery roars like thunder and shrapnel rains like hail, armored vehicles dart through hell. These aren't mere transports, they're iron angels, evacuation marvels driven by women who challenge death to haul wounded comrades from peril. Labeled as untouchable saviors, they expose Russia's cruel detachment. Foes abandon their hurt on battlefields, letting blood stain the earth. Here, a bullet-riddled ambulance, engine growling defiantly, becomes a beacon of unbreakable bonds. Zoom in on one heroine, a 32-year-old medic named Irina, gripping the wheel as bullets whistle past, the vehicle shuddering under impact, her heart pounding with resolve. Where Russians see liability in the injured, she sees souls worth everything, plunging into mine-strewn fields to rescue one life. This isn't strategy, it's ethos, widening the fracture between armies. Peering through scopes, Russian fighters witnessed Ukrainians dying for each other, sparking envy and despair, while their own side discards the weak, fueling mutiny and escape plans across lines. What terrifies a soldier more than a sniper's aim? Realizing no savior waits for you in agony. These iron angels, with faces scarred by war yet spirits unbowed, humiliate occupiers by exemplifying true valor. Russia's front crumbles not just from blows, but from moral wounds inflicted by these everyday warriors. Ukraine's army morphs into a seamless force, amplified by feminine grit, explaining why conquest remains a phantom dream. But wait, what if we told you this isn't defeat, but a profound awakening reshaping futures? As women fuse redemption with rage, the empire's grip weakens, leaving us to ponder, who truly holds power in the unseen storm? The curtain falls on angelic guardians, but whispers of triumph hinted more twists ahead. What sacrifices will define the next chapter in this epic defiance? Imagine the shocking reality: women, once confined to kitchens or prison walls, now form an unbreakable shield on Ukraine's battlefronts, numbering tens of thousands who make Putin's forces tremble with fear. Facing not just soldiers, but avenging Amazons driven by pure hatred, Russia's grand plans crumble in the mud of asymmetric